Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep on Caroline Calloway.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be good.
It is, right? We got our Wikipedia page, obviously.
Of course. Gotta start with Wiki.
Of course, of
For
course.
real.
And a whole bunch of articles
Yeah.
with some very strong opinions, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet.
And her book, Scammer.
Okay, so we're going deep.
We're going deep.
This is gonna be juicy. I'm excited.
So is she a visionary? Is she a con artist? Is she somewhere in between?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it? I think she embodies this, very modern problem of how do we separate the genuine visionaries from the people who are just really good at self-promotion,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Like, is she out there actually changing the world?
Yeah.
Or is she just really good at getting us to look at her?
Right. And I think that's why this deep dive is so interesting.
Right.
So let's rewind a little bit back to, her rise to fame. We're talking those Instagram days at Cambridge.
Oh, yeah, the Cambridge era.
2014.
Uh,
She's building this massive following already
Right.
with these picture-perfect posts.
Right.
And these, poetic captions.
Yeah, this is like peak, influencer is just becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like she was one of the first, right?
It was like this aspirational lifestyle, kind of carefully curated.
Yeah, and she built this reputation as like a really good writer too from those captions, right?
Right.
That's what got her that book deal in the first place.
Yes.
That six-figure advance.
For a memoir based on those Instagram posts.
Based on the gram.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And so many people are buying into this perfect life.
Yeah, everyone's eating it up.
Yeah. And then enter the canceled workshops.
Oh, yeah, that was not good.
She's offering these creativity workshops, selling tickets to, tons of followers who want to learn her secrets.
Right.
And then it all falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's when those accusations of scammer really start, I feel like.
That's when it really blew up. And then she's saying it's because of her Adderall addiction.
Right.
Like she's blaming it on that, but the damage is done.
The damage is done.
And then it comes out that she spent the book advance on partying.
Oof. Not on writing the book.
Not on the book that she got the six figures for.
So already some red flags, maybe.
Some cracks in the facade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was that whole snake oil incident.
Oh, right. The skincare line.
The skincare line.
Yeah.
And people are outraged because the prices are sky high.
Yeah. Super expensive.
And the ingredients are very basic.
Basically just like coconut oil and baking soda or something, right?
Yeah.
It just felt like another cash grab.
Right. Like capitalizing on her image.
Not offering any real value.
Yeah. And then talk about fanning the flames.
Mm-hmm.
She decides to stay in her Florida condo during Hurricane Milton.
Oh, God, that was a whole thing.
Mandatory evacuations.
And she's like, nope.
And she's like, I'm staying.
What was her reasoning again?
Well, she said the condo had good safety features
Oh.
and that, her family had history in the building.
Okay.
Her friends were staying with her and they needed her.
She was a support system.
Yeah, she was a support system.
Yeah.
But, come on.
A lot of people saw that as incredibly irresponsible.
Reckless, yeah.
Especially for someone with such a large platform,
Right.
like influencing people.
And the public reaction, split down the middle.
Right, yeah, totally divided.
Some people are like, you go, girl. You make your own choices.
It's her life, her decision.
And then others are like, this is so dangerous. You're putting people at risk.
And not just herself, right? Like first responders, potentially.
Absolutely. Like, what are you doing?
The whole thing was just bizarre. And then the way she was documenting it all on social media,
Oh, my God.
like it felt performative almost.
Like, is this real concern for her friends?
Or is this just like another way to get attention?
Right. And then enter Natalie Beach,
Oh, here we go.
the former friend and, most importantly, ghostwriter,
The ghostwriter, yes.
publishes that tell-all expose in the cut.
That was like the article that launched 1,000 think pieces.
No, it was huge. Detailing their relationship, accusing Caroline of being a master manipulator,
A lot.
taking credit for work that's not hers.
That article went viral instantly.
Oh, yeah. And it really, I feel like, gave a voice to all those people who had those suspicions about her.
Yeah, it was like confirmation, right.
Yes.
It painted a very different picture of her. Not the whimsical, free-spirited writer, but like
Yeah.
this cunning, calculated person who was willing to exploit people for her own gain.
It's solidified that Caroline Calloway is a scammer narrative.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's when it really stuck.
Like cemented it in the public consciousness.
Yeah. And it also, brought up all these questions about authorship.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Ghostwriting, the lines between collaboration and exploitation, especially online.
Especially in the age of influencers, right?
Yeah.
Where does the influencer end and the ghostwriter begin?
And then Caroline addresses it all in her memoir, Scammer.
Bold move with that title.
Bold move. Tells her side of the story, including her relationship with Natalie,
Right.
in her own words.
Okay, so she's trying to reclaim the narrative.
Right, right. And she's super honest in this book. She talks about her Adderall addiction, her sexual experiences, even like her self-awareness of her flaws, kind of.
It's a very raw book, for sure.
It is.
But is it genuine? Or is it just another calculated move?
I don't know.
Right.
But then, to make things even more complicated.
It's never simple with Caroline, is it?
No. She makes this statement about Luigi Mangione, who is the suspected assassin of Brian Thompson. It's like a huge case.
Oh, right, right.
And she claims to have slept with him.
Like out of nowhere.
It felt like she was trying to insert herself into this huge case.
Yeah, trying to stay relevant.
Right.
Maybe trying to capitalize on a tragedy.
So we've got this really complicated picture emerging, right? This rise to fame, the scandals, the controversies, and now she's trying to control the narrative.
It's a mess.
But is she this genuine visionary who's just made some bad choices? Or is she this master manipulator who's playing us all?
Yeah, like, is she for real or is she faking it? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in a world where attention equals currency.
Right, right.
How do we tell the difference between someone who's actually trying to make a difference and someone who's just really good at getting people to look at them?
Yeah.
Like, is there even a difference anymore?
And in Caroline's case, like, maybe those lines are blurrier than we think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't talk about Caroline Calloway without talking about the internet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Her rise, her fall, this whole, like, attempted comeback,
Mm-hmm.
it's all played out online.
Like her whole life is a performance piece, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're all in the audience.
And we can't look away. It's like even those early Instagram posts, you know, the ones that made her famous,
Mm-hmm.
they were so carefully constructed. It makes you wonder, was that even real?
Was that even her?
Was that even Caroline?
Or was she just really good at, like, building a brand?
Yeah.
And that's the question for all of us now, isn't it?
Yeah.
With social media. How much is the real you
Yeah.
and how much is the performance? Like,
Yeah.
where does that line even exist anymore?
And she seems to be saying, there's no line.
Right.
Like her life is art, is performance.
It's all art.
But is that just an excuse for bad behavior?
Right. I mean, refusing to evacuate during a hurricane.
Right.
Like trying to insert herself into this murder case.
Right.
Those don't seem like the actions of someone who cares about their public image.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if she's so aware how she's perceived, why make those choices?
Right.
Is she just like a brilliant manipulator?
Who just knows how to get attention?
Yes.
No matter what.
Good or bad doesn't matter.
Or is she just totally clueless? It's
Yeah.
like completely indifferent to the consequences.
Let's go back to the workshops
Okay.
for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we give her the benefit of the doubt,
All right.
Right.
Okay.
and say, yeah, the cancellations were because of her addiction.
Not malice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a total disaster.
Right.
People paid money,
Mm-hmm.
had expectations,
Totally let them down.
broke that trust with her audience.
And I think that's really when that scammer label
Yeah.
like really solidified,
Yeah.
because it just made it hard to take her seriously after that.
Mhm.
As a person, as a creative professional, like
Yeah.
it just really damaged her credibility.
And then the article in The Cut comes out
Oh, yeah.
by Natalie Beach.
Oof, yeah.
Like watching a friendship implode in real time.
A public friendship
In
imploding.
front of the whole internet.
And those accusations, I mean, they were serious.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulative, liar, taking credit for other people's work.
Basically confirming everyone's suspicions, right?
Yeah. It really added fuel to that scammer fire.
Yeah.
That was already burning pretty brightly.
Totally.
But then in her book,
Scammer.
she kind of pushes back, right?
Mhm.
On Natalie's version of events.
She owns up to some stuff.
Yeah.
Tries to like reframe things.
Okay.
And it's interesting because she gets so personal.
Yeah.
Like really lays it all out there.
Addiction, her sex life, like
All of it.
even her flaws. It's
Mhm.
like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this like radical transparency?
Yeah.
Or is it just another way of manipulating us?
Calculated vulnerability.
Right. Like, is she trying to get our sympathy
Yeah.
by being super honest?
hmm
Or is it just like another act?
And she always seems to overshare,
Doesn't she?
even when it could hurt her.
Yeah, like she can't help herself.
So it's like we're drawn to that honesty,
Mm-hmm.
but also kind of put off by it.
It's like we want to believe her,
Yeah.
but we also know she's, like, always performing.
So back to our original question. Are we any closer to an answer?
Visionary or con artist?
Yeah.
I still don't know.
I know.
There's, like, evidence for both.
Right.
She's clearly talented, ambitious, knows how to get people's attention.
Yeah.
But she also keeps making these choices
These terrible choices.
that make you question everything. Like, is this intentional?
Yeah.
Or is she just messing up?
It's like this constant tug of war between ambition and self-destruction.
Right.
She wants to be successful, but she also sabotages herself.
Maybe she's both.
At every turn.
Maybe it's not about labeling her as one thing or the other.
Yeah.
And just, like, recognizing that she's complicated.
Yeah.
That she contains multitudes.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a little bit visionary, a little bit con artist.
Yeah, maybe it's not a neat little box.
Right.
She's just like a mix of everything.
That's what makes her so interesting
Yeah.
and so frustrating. You know, Caroline Calloway, she's a product of her time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we live in this world where social media fame, it's like this intoxicating, destructive thing. The lines between reality and performance are so blurred.
Totally. And she's navigating it in this very public, messy way.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to all of us.
Oh, interesting.
Like forcing us to confront our own relationship with authenticity,
Okay, yeah.
with ambition, with wanting validation online.
It's true. We're all performing to some extent, right?
Totally. Like curating our image.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wonder how much of our fascination with her comes from, like, wanting to see her fail.
Oh, that's interesting. The schadenfreude.
Yeah, like, people seem to revel in her mistakes.
It's true.
Like, it confirms their suspicions.
Yeah.
Like, see, I knew it all along.
Yeah, like she had it all, this curated perfection, and then she messes up.
Right.
It's almost like validating for us, you
Yeah.
know? It reinforces this idea that, like, influencer culture is all fake. That deep down, we're all just messy humans.
But then at the same time, there's this part of us that wants to see her succeed.
Right.
Like, we're drawn to that vulnerability.
The honesty, even when it's, like, cringy,
Yeah.
it's a weird dynamic.
It is. So maybe that's the key to understanding her.
Maybe.
Like, she's a walking contradiction.
Totally. A mess and a masterpiece.
Scammer and a storyteller.
Yeah, she defies categorization.
So where do you land?
After all this, I don't know if I can say she's one thing or the other.
Yeah.
I think she's a bit of both.
And maybe neither.
Yeah, maybe neither. She's just Caroline.
Caroline. But one thing's for sure. She's not going away.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
More books, more platforms, more controversy.
And love her or hate her, she knows how to get our attention.
That she does. Maybe that's the mark of a true visionary, right?
In the digital age, for sure.
Being able to adapt, keep creating, stay relevant.
Even when the world's against you.
It's impressive in a way.
It is. So, after this deep dive, after all this information, what do you think? Is she a symptom of a bigger problem? Or is she just really good at playing the game?
I guess that's for you to decide.
Yeah, that's Caroline Calloway for you.
A true enigma.
Well, that was a wild ride. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Caroline Calloway.